didn't get to eat dinner today, all right? Don't judge me. Oh, sup. All right, hi, once again. Okay, so I know I need to do a quick explanation of what's happening to not most of you right now, but probably my friends who are grown-ass adults, and they're probably wondering, why the fuck are you going live right now, Chris? This makes no sense. So to my friends who are grown adults and who are wondering what the hell's happening right now, long story short, there is a seemingly small contingent of people who discovered, or rediscovered, I guess I should say, some weird live journal drama that happened like 15 years ago, which is crazy to me. It's just crazy to me, right? I mean, but here's the deal. So you know that I'm like a grown-ass man, right? Like actual legitimate man. It's weird. If I committed a crime, they wouldn't say, oh, Chris, oh, that's kid Chris. No, they'd be like, grown-ass man, Chris, just robbed a fucking store. So it seems weird that you would be on fucking Twitter right now talking to essentially children. I mean, not essentially. I mean, you are children if you're under 18, right? But what's crazy to me is that so many people are pontificating on like weird kind of like drama that happened like 15 years ago, all right? That's kind of crazy to me. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's fucking crazy to me, right? Now, it's kind of fun though. And you're saying to yourself right now, well, aren't you a grown-ass adult? Don't you got better shit to do than sit here and talk to people online? No, I don't. I don't. The thing that no adults are going to tell you is that they get fucking shittier as they get older. They get more boring. We don't have shit to do. That's why adults have kids. They're like, oh, I got to obsess over you guys. Oh, when's your softball game? When's your soccer game? Oh, I got to go to your PTA meetings. Oh, what are you doing? What are you eating? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have kids. I don't have shit to do. You know what I do? Cats. I hang out with cats all day, right? But I started my own business. And because of that, I employ people. Wait, you're somebody's boss? Mm-hmm. It's fucking weird, right? Anyways, so I have employees who now work for me, so I don't have to work as much, right? Cool. Anyways, what I'm getting at is that I don't have shit to do. I don't. I just hang out with cats all day. And then I come home and then all of a sudden I check Twitter like probably once every like 3 months, right? I just check it, see if anybody's replied at me or something like that. And all of a sudden I was like, I don't know what got in me. And I was like, you know, I'm going to just like fucking search Heychris. And then all this shit came up. And I'm like, why are these? And then I'm like doing a little reverse stalking and I'm like looking at your little bios and it's like 13, California, 14, 15, or whatever, like San Francisco. And I'm like, these are kids. These are like children, like children, like fucking lunch money motherfuckers, right? And I'm like, why are you talking about me? That's weird, right? And then I'm like, all right, I'll play along. So here's the deal. So one of the questions that I did on the little Twitter thing the other day was I answered some questions that people had for me, right? And if you guys are asking questions in the comments, it's just kind of going too fast, so it's getting lost. So I'm not going to see them just yet, but I will answer questions, I promise. One of the things was that somebody asked me what my favorite Fall Out Boy songs were, and one of those songs was From Now On we're enemies, right? And it's probably not for the reasons why you think. A long time ago, I was out running, right? And I wear tiny little shorts, little running shorts, right? When I would go running all the time. I don't run so much anymore. My bad back, because I'm an old fucker. But true. Anyway, so I was out running, right? And so I'm running through the streets. And I live in the heart of Chicago, for those of you who don't know. I live in Lincoln Park. It's a neighborhood right by the lake in Chicago. So I'm running through Lincoln Park, right? And I'm running down Clark. And I have my little red running shorts on, right? And it's hot as balls, right? So I'm sweaty, gross, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is that when you're sweaty and gross and you're in these tiny little red running shorts, it's like they stick to you, which is very revealing, right? So I'm running, and these two women come out of the Starbucks. And they have their Starbucks with them, and they're, you know, carrying their little Louis and their little fucking Frappuccinos or whatever, and they're fucking walking down, blah, 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 right? They're walking down the street. And I'm running towards them, and they look at me, and I see them, you know, they're like walking, whatever, and they're both looking at me, and I look at them, and they look at me, and then they go, and I knew exactly what happened. They looked at me, and they looked down, and they probably saw the outline of my dong, all right? And then I was like, and I'm running, so I'm running pretty fast, and they see me, but it all happens within like 1-2 seconds, right? And I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, what? And then I'm listening to that song, and one of the lines in it is, I'm just the man on the balcony singing "Nobody Will Ever Remember Me." And what clicked at that moment was that nobody will remember me. Do you know what I'm saying? And I don't mean this in a sad fucker kind of way. Nobody's ever going to remember me, all right? Let me give you an example. Do you know, how many of you know who Kevin DeBro is? All right, let that sink in for a minute, because I know that most of you are like, who the fuck's Kevin DeBro? Kevin DeBro was the old singer of the band called Quiet Riot. Who the fuck is Quiet Riot? I don't know if you know or not. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Quiet Riot is the first heavy metal band to have a #1 single and a #1 record in America. Okay? They played stadiums, 80,000, 100,000 in Brazil. Massive, right? Massive. And then Kevin DeBro died in 2007 of a cocaine overdose in a 1-bedroom apartment. And he was reduced to playing parties for $300, his guarantee. So what I'm getting at is Kevin DeBro is somebody who has made a massive impact on the world. Somebody who's huge. Somebody's done so much, played to so many big crowds, and has songs that you would recognize probably, like Come On Feel the Noise, Heavy Metal, all this kind of stuff. And most of you probably don't know who he is. I'm not saying because you're young. I'm not trying to be condescending. I'm just saying most people don't know who the fuck. Your average person, if I walk up to them and I say, who's Kevin DeBro? They'll be like, I don't know. What I'm getting at is that he has had more of an influence, and will ever have more of an influence than I ever will. And nobody gives a fuck. So what I'm saying is, when I was running, and these women looked down, saw the imprint of my dong, and this song was playing through my headphones, and I heard that line that nobody will ever remember me. And I'm like, they won't. They won't. You won't. And nor should you. I haven't done anything particularly insane, crazy. I'd like to think that I affected some positivity in the world by, doing what I do now, by saving cats and all that kind of shit. But at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck, because none of you are going to remember me. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's a liberating feeling. It is not a negative. This is not a pessimistic thing. Just because you just won't remember me. You know what's going to happen is I might say, oh, is he going to say something controversial? He's going to throw somebody under the bus. Is he going to expose some shit? And let's say I do. Dude, it's a 24-hour news cycle, man. Tomorrow you'll be obsessing over some other bullshit. Do you know what I'm saying? It doesn't fucking matter what I say. It doesn't. Also, I'm a grown-ass man. I don't care if I lose followers. I don't care. I don't have some kind of fan base. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a shit. I protect nobody except for the people who matter to me. And I know where you're going with this. You're saying to yourself, oh, you're going to talk about your friends that you used to be friends with, or you did, blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you this. If any of you motherfuckers roadied for the Sex Pistols on the ill-fated 1977 United States tour, I would punish the living shit out of you motherfuckers. I would be up in your DMs being like, what did Sid Vicious smell like on that motherfucker? I would be like, what did Johnny Rotten eat that day for breakfast? You tell me what color panties fucking Paul Cook wore on stage in Atlanta in January of 78. That's what I would say. Because if you roadied for Black Flag in 1984 or the Sex Pistols in 1978, I would want to know every single goddamn detail of their lives. But unfortunately you don't. So I won't punish you. But what I do know is that some of the stories and some of the knowledge and some of the experiences that I've gone through affect some of you in a positive way. All right? And what I mean by that is that if I can tell you a quick story about something that nobody's ever really talked about because it was just a random day in 2004, and that makes you happy, it takes such little effort on my part to do that, okay? It takes such little effort on my part to tell you about these little moments of my life. Does that make sense? So when people come in and they're like, oh my God, or they send me DMs or whatever, and they're like, oh my God, you're just living off the fact that they wrote a song about you 20 years ago, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I'm not. I have a whole life. Got a whole life. Not much of one, but I got a whole life, you know? I save cats. I own my own business. I travel all the time. I get to do cool shit. I play Warzone with my old man friends at night, every night on the PlayStation. I do, every single night. And I got a little life that I've created, and it's fucking wonderful. And am I the Heychris from the Fall Boy song? Well, yeah. I mean, but that happened 20 years ago. That would be like me if I went up to you and I was like, oh my God, you were on the volleyball team with Debbie. You'd be like, well, yeah, that was just the time of my life that I was on a volleyball team with Debbie. But now Debbie's famous. Now Debbie is putting out amazing art. And someone wants to know all about Debbie on your fucking volleyball team. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what my life is like. My life is not, oh my God, I know the dudes at Fall Out Boy or fucking My Chemical Romance. Oh my God, it's so fucking crazy. It was, wow, me and Wentz were best friends. And we hung out. And I slept over at his house. And we used to go to the movies together. And then all of a sudden, we were in a band together. An old hardcore band. Pretty crappy hardcore band. But it was a hardcore band. And then I was like, hey, I'm going to go to beauty school. And they're like, hey. And I remember at Arma Angelus practice, him walking in. It was in the wintertime. And we were sitting down and he walks in and he goes, dude, so I'm starting this fucking pop punk band with these fucking dudes. And I was like, oh, really? And he goes, yeah. He goes, dude, it sounds like a cross between Lifetime and Newfound Glory. I was like, really? He goes, yeah. And I remember when the Saves the Day, Stay What You Are record came out. I remember we were going on Arma tour, and it was cold as fuck. I remember when it came out. And I don't know if it had come out or if we got like an advanced copy or something. I can't remember. But we were in the van, and we were going on tour. And he was like, yo, this is so good. This is so good. And it's just kind of funny, like, to know that dude is now this dude that you have all kind of like turned into this myth, you know? When that was just my friend. Does that make sense? And it's really difficult for me to try to convey that to you. It's really difficult for me to try to explain that to you because I know that these people, these figures, have turned into this mythical status. And it's just funny to me sometimes. And I don't mean this in a condescending way. Please don't take it that way. It's terrifying, but equally adorable how obsessive so many of you are about this. It's like fucking crazy. Just think about this. Think about this for 1 second. I just want you to try and put yourself in my position so you can get a little bit of perspective. Imagine the friend group you had. I don't know how old you are, whatever. I don't know if you're fucking 15 or fucking 55 right now. But just imagine, like, the people that you used to be friends with, used to hang out with, that was just your crew. That was your boys. That was your girls. You guys went to Taco Bell together. You guys went and bought donuts together. You guys went to the movies together, right? And you're still cool with them. You still talk. Hey, what's up? Blah, blah, blah. Let me text you. Hey, man, how you been? I haven't talked to you for a while. La, la, la. And then All of a sudden, those friends are now famous. And then there's a contingent of people, mostly children, equally disturbing, online who are now pontificating over what happened with you and your friends. When I'm like, motherfucker, you were a fetus when this shit happened. Or, oh, come here. You want to say hi? Hi. This is my Layla. Layla was hit by a car once. Her guts were splayed all over the street. She lost her tail. You can see where she was ripped open. Her guts were like, bleh. And then she has no tail. But I know, I'm sorry. Violated you. But that now she's mine. And then I tattooed her on my hand. Okay. Let's get back to where we're going. I lose the course. I really want to eat my soup so bad right now. It's the fucking Panera baked potato soup. It's fucking delicious. You don't think it's gonna be that good because you're like, oh, it's microwavable soup, but it's Panera. It's so fucking good. Anyways, this is my dinner tonight, by the way. I didn't get to eat. Anyways, it's just kind of crazy to think that like people who weren't there are now. It was just a random days. So the thing is that what I find interesting is to bring this all the way back is once I went on Twitter, I just searched. I was like, oh, Heychris, I wonder what's going on. And a bunch of people were talking about this, about like the summer of like and all this kind of shit. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Now, I was mildly aware of this. Mildly, right? I kind of figured 15 people were interested in this. And then it, poof, and then people moved past it because this shit was fucking 15, 20 years ago. And it wasn't even like a big deal. Why is everybody talking about this shit, right? Yes, my soup is getting cold. Thank you for asking. And then I'm like, why are people talking about this? It's fucking weird. And then just don't even think about it. Thinking about it for like, I don't think about it for months, right? And then a friend of mine ends up sending me a link to something. And I was like, the fuck is this shit? And then I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? Again, I'm gonna try and put this in perspective for you. You're hanging out with Debbie and your friends fucking volleyball, right? You guys going to Taco Bell. Oh man, that's fucking crazy. Debbie, she's so crazy. Oh my God, it's so cute. Oh my God. You guys are all hanging out. And then all of a sudden, you're a grown ass adult with a whole different life. You've moved on from fucking volleyball. That's shit you did when you were a kid. You barely talk to Debbie. You keep in touch. You might be like cool on, online and everything. All right, cool. And then all of a sudden, somebody has put together a whole history of you and Debbie. And you're like, who the fuck are you? And then you're like, wait a minute, who the fuck are you? And then they're like, oh, don't worry about me. You've never met me before. I wasn't even born when this shit happened between you and Debbie and the fucking volleyball team and Taco Bell. And then I'd be like, all right, cool. And then they're like, no. But I'm going to tell you what happened in your life on Tuesday at volleyball practice between you and Debbie. So you and Debbie made out, right? And me and Debbie are like, what the fuck is happening right now? That's what's going on in my life right now. So anyways. Listen, again. It is equally as terrifying and adorable. Okay, so my friend Megan Mayhem's here, okay? Megan Mayhem actually corrected me on something today that I think that you should know. Those pictures that I said were taken in Jeffree Star's apartment were not taken in Jeffree Star's apartment. They were actually taken in Sarah Dope's apartment, and Megan is the one who took them. So I apologize. I was my timelines were wrong. But the first speaking I ever did in LA was in Jeffree Star's living room, and so long story short, I don't know if you know, I used to write books, and then I go on speaking tours and do the little talkie shows, and I'd be like, hey, buy my books, whatever, I'm poor, help me buy pizza, whatever. And so I confused that with the same apartment. So I guess there was two different, whatever. Why bring up Jeffree Star? Exactly. Dude's a fucking turd. Fuck that motherfucker. He's a racist piece of shit. Fuck him. I saw it firsthand. That motherfucker's gonna go on YouTube and be like, no, I really wasn't. I was just joking. Or blah, blah, blah. Fuck that. Fuck that. There's people in this chat right now who watch that shit. Fuck that racist motherfucker. Don't support that piece of shit. Fuck him. Anyways, like I said, I don't give a fuck. I've got nothing to lose. But I do, Jeffree, also I'm not even on Jeffree Star's radar, so fuck him. I don't even give a fuck. That dude's a fucking multimillionaire. I'm fucking people over. I don't give a fuck. Fuck him. Anyways, but Megan was there. Megan can back me up on all this shit. Anyways, I don't know. I really don't know where I didn't really have a plan for what I was gonna say. I just feel like a lot of people listen, I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of fun to troll you motherfuckers. It is. Oh man, aren't you a grown-ass middle-aged man? Why are you doing this shit online? I told you, I don't have a fucking life. I told you, it's just cats, man. It's just cats. I sleep in, I fucking ride my bike, I play Warzone with my friends. I'm basically a 16-year-old kid. Oh, and then I went and got a vasectomy a couple months ago, so definitely not having any kids. I don't need those things, man. I don't know. Anyways. But anyways, I mean, it's like kind of funny. Like, I'm not going to lie. Because listen, if you found out Debbie and half your fucking volleyball team were famous now, and you had all this funny stories and all of these pictures and all of this stuff that people could misconstrue drastically about you making out with fucking Debbie, wouldn't you kind of throw some Debbie shit online and just kind of like, sometimes I like to throw a grenade and just walk away. Listen, I wouldn't do anything that I thought was going to be harmful to anybody in any way. You know what I'm saying? I know that you all want to see if I'm going to drop some shit or if I'm going to talk some shit about anybody. I'll talk shit about Jeffree Star all day until the fucking cows come home. I don't give a fuck. But no, I mean, Pete is a wonderful dude. We still talk every now and then. He's a great dude. He gave me and is directly responsible, and I mentioned this in my Twitter Q&A thing, is that he is responsible for some of the best days, moments of my life. He really is. So was Mikey. Mikey's an incredible human being. He's a wonderful dude. I don't know if some of you might know, but how we met. I wrote something about it a while ago. It was the summer of like. It was funny. It was on Warped Tour, and Fall Out Boy and Mike Hem were both playing. And I was doing something. Oh, my cat's taking a shit over there if you hear some scratching. And I was sitting on the bus, and on the Fall Out Boy bus, we were just sitting there hanging out, whatever, because it was so hot. I remember it was so hot. And Joe Troman comes on with Mikey, and he walks on. And he goes, "Oh, hey, blah blah blah." He goes, "Oh, this is Chris." And I was like, "Hey, what's up, man?" And I knew them. Like I didn't know them, but like I had seen Mike Hem play the Fireside to like 50 people in 2003, and it was cool because Troman actually told me, he's like, "Dude, you need to download that new fucking this band called My Chemical Romance. They just put out Bullets. Bullets had just come out, and I downloaded that shit from LimeWire." And they know about it. I busted balls about it all the time. And I downloaded that shit from LimeWire. And I went to the Fireside. Fireside used to be this grimy ass shitty bowling alley punk venue in Chicago. And and I went to the bowling alley, and there was only, like I said, like 50, 60 people there. And quit being adorable or come over here. You got to choose. Anyways, so they were playing. And then, what the fucking Think Happy Thoughts line. The Think Happy Thoughts, blah, 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 over and over. So they're playing a stage, plywood, maybe a foot off the ground, and nobody's giving a fuck. Actually, everybody was talking shit because Gerard had this really shitty pleather jacket on, and everybody's like, "You fucking nerd, where'd you get that from, Zare?" For those of you who don't know, Zare is an old store primarily in the Midwest that was kind of the equivalent of Kmart, Walmart. And they're like, "Oh, where'd you get that fucking Zare jacket?" And they were like talking shit to him, right? Because this is still grimy punk rock, right? And head first for Halos. And so he starts singing, and like I was like, oh man, everybody's fucking with him. I'm like, this band's fucking good, but everybody's like making fun of him, right? So nobody was really into him. I would say maybe like 5 people were singing along. And so he starts doing the Think Happy Thoughts thing, and I jump up and I grab him by the collar and I just start singing it to his face. So we're like face to face, almost making out. And so we're like face to face and we're singing Think Happy Thoughts, and I'm grabbing him, right? And I was like, oh, it's so fucking rad, right? So the song ends, because that's how the song ends, Think Happy Thoughts, blah, right? And then he, I jump off stage, whatever. And he goes, hey man, what's your name? And I'm like, dude, don't make this shit weird, man. Don't do that. But no, it was cool. It was fine, right? So anyways, long story short, let's fast forward back to the Summer of Like. And so we're there, and Fall Out Boy, they're like, hey, we got to go. We got to get on stage. And I was like, all right, cool. And then they're like, hey, Mikey, you should hang out with Chris. And then Troman looks at me and he goes, hey, hang out with Mikey. He'll hang out with anyone. I still remember that. And I was like, you dick. But it was funny. And then ever since then, we just got along really well. So, it was just really funny because, so we got along really well, whatever. Whenever I was on tour, I would always crash with Mikey whenever I was in like Jersey and everything, right? And he's an amazing dude, an incredible guy, one of my really good friends, and I love him to death. So if you think that I'm going to talk shit about him or say anything bad about him, I don't, and I won't, because he's a great motherfucker. He's not a great motherfucker because he's in My Chemical Romance. He's a great motherfucker because he's a good dude, and that's why he's my friend. There are plenty of dudes in plenty of bands that plenty of people in these comments have met who know that they're not just good dudes. You might keep them around because they're in this band or that band, but they know that they're not good dudes. He's a great dude. He's not just a good dude. He's an amazing, wonderful, and super generous motherfucker. I can't say enough good things about him. So if you think that that I was going to sit here and talk shit about any of that stuff, I'm not. I love him to death. He's responsible for a lot of great nights in my life. But anyways, another fun story. So fast forward a little bit to the Black Parade era, right? Black Parade era. They're on tour for the Black Parade. I think they toured on that record for like 2 or 2.5 years, right? They come to Chicago, and we're hanging out, and I was just kind of sitting there, and usually it was just me and Mikey, right? And then Gerard came in, and we were sitting there, and Mikey's like, "Yo, dude, did you know that Chris was at one of our Fireside shows?" And he goes, no way. And I was like, yeah, dude. I'm like, and then I was like, do I say it? And I was like, nah, yeah. I'm like, I don't want to like fan out on the dude or anything, and be like, but nah, man, dude, you guys did that song. I'm like, Think Happy Thoughts, and I grabbed you. And he goes, that was you? And I was like, yeah. He goes, we talked about that shit the whole tour. He goes, that was like the best moment of that tour. So it's funny that he remembers that, right? And I was like, oh, it's funny, right? So whatever, blah, 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 blah. Fast forward, right? A couple weeks ago, I was in Detroit. They had beautiful sunsets up there. And I was in Detroit and hanging out, got to hang out with the dudes, whatever, and we were just sitting there. And I was like, I don't know if he remembers. But anyways, he came in and he's like, yo, you look exactly the same. I'm like, don't lie. Because none of us are getting any younger. And I was like, but that's nice of you to say, right? Whatever. And then I was like, yeah, man. I was like, I don't know if you remember that thing. I'm like, the Think Happy thing. He goes, dude, that was one of the best times of that entire tour. He goes, seriously. He goes, it was fucking amazing. So it's funny that he still remembers that day. I don't know. It seems just like one of those kind of trivial things that you think would kind of like, it was just a fleeting moment kind of thing that like nobody's going to remember that kind of shit. But I don't know. It's kind of cool. But anyways, yeah. Okay. So it's getting dark in here. I'm going to open the windows a little bit. And then I'm going to do about 5 minutes maybe if you want to ask me a question. So get ready. No, I'm not in my underwear. I got my shorty house shorts on. All right, so don't go being like, oh, he's in his underwear. He's being fucking weird. I mean, you could say that he's being weird, but not that I'm being some kind of weird. Hold on. Oh, hold on. Layla really wants to eat the soup. I just want to let you know. Come here. Show the people how gorgeous you are. Shut up. All right. This is my Layla. Okay, so if you think that I'm going to talk shit about any, well, maybe I will. I don't know. Well, let's see where this goes. All right. Go ahead. Ask away if you got something that you want to ask. Be nice, though. Just be cool. Don't be a dick. I saw a bunch of people in Twitter comments, man. I'm like, yeah, I get it. I don't really give a shit, though. Just try to be nice. Who's your favorite cat and why? Layla. I got her tattooed on my fucking hand. Do you like Always Sunny? Every time I've seen it, I've liked it. I'm not mad at it. I never go out of my way to watch it, though. Where can you get physical copies of my books? eBay now. I don't sell them anymore. How's the Catcade? Absolutely wonderful. We're buying a building. Joe and Mikey kiss. Can you elaborate? I can't. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Birthday twins. Yes, we're birthday twins. November 17th. Yes, unfortunately, I'm a Scorpio. Chris, how am I, baby girl? Doing just fine. Can cats have soup? As long as there's not too much garlic in it, and they can have a lick. What's Gerard like? Super sweet. Totally, unbelievably gentle. One of the kindest motherfuckers that I've ever met. Funny enough, one time, when he was just putting out his comics, he was like, hey, I just put out a comic. And I was like, oh, it's fucking awesome. I heard all about it, man. Congratulations. He goes, dude, do you have any copies? And I was like, no. And he like runs off and grabs me like a stack. And then he's like, here you go. And I still have them somewhere. I don't know where they're at. Do you still have root beer during the pick set? I don't know what that means. Did I still have the root beer when we took those pictures? No, I think it was before the root beer. Is Patrick Stone baby girl? I don't know. I haven't talked to that dude in 10 years. Do you still sell Heychris is my internet boyfriend shirt? No. That was ridiculous. I can't believe that people bought those, though. Thoughts on Frank? Super good dude. We went out to a diner in Jersey with him one time when I was staying with Mikey. I crashed with Mikey for a couple of days, and then we met up with Frank at some diner, because there are diners everywhere in Jersey. Am I a Taylor Swift fan? Fuck yes. She's fucking awesome. I totally treated her like it was just like some kind of like, ha ha ha, this is a catchy song off Red. And then I saw her, the Tumblr thing that she did for her fans, where she went out and she bought them like stuff off of their like wish lists and all that kind of stuff and surprised them with stuff. And I was like, I fucking love her. And then I went to the 1989 tour, and I got fucking sick ass seats because my dude was on tour with them. And I was like, hey man, is there any way you could get me in? And he's like, yeah. And he got us fucking sick ass seats, and they were fucking amazing. And that 1980 tour was straight bangers. She did the whole fucking thing from beginning to end. It was so good. It was such an amazing thing. Fucking awesome. Show me your cats. Most of them are sleeping except for Layla right now. Let's see. I don't know. What else? Can you send love to my cat, Rebecca? She is my best friend and has cancer. I'm so sorry. That fucking sucks. I'm so sorry. Just take as many pictures and videos of her as possible so you can watch them later. That's all I can say. Do I like BTS? I don't know. I'm too old for that shit. Layla's distracting. I need her to know that you love her. Hey, the internet, some people on the internet that you've never met before love you, which is really weird because you're kind of a dick, but she's wonderful and she loves me. So, favorite horror movie? I'm not really big into horror. The original Poltergeist scared the shit out of me though. I had to see it when I was like in 3rd grade, and it's fucking scary as fuck. Show the clandestine tattoo. That might be a little creepy. Might get me sent to jail. Probably not. Best Arma Angeles show. The last one. The one that I uploaded onto YouTube. Why? because none of us knew what the fuck we were doing. Oh, I think listen, I want to tell you a little something, because I wanted to tell you like a couple of little stories, because I know that, like, again, I know that to some of you, the stories that I have in here and the things that I've experienced and a little bit of my history is cool, right? And I understand that that holds a little bit of value to you, right? The way that, if, again, like I said, if you told me that you were on tour with the Sex Pistols, I would be like, what did you guys do? Tell me every little detail you can remember. So to you, like to those days, that was just something I did 15, 20 years ago. It's not a big deal. But if I can tell you like little things that I remember, I know that makes some of you happy. As cheesy as that sounds, like, I know that some of you, it makes you happy. So how hard is it for me to just kind of tell you a couple stories about things that happened when I was younger? So we decided we were going to do the last Arma show, right? Fall Out Boy was already starting to go. They had already put out their first record, An Evening Out with a Girlfriend, which I did backing vocals on as well. I did them on Take This to Your Grave as well. But anyways, I wish I would have taken pictures. I always had a disposable. This is the problem. This is the problem with that era. That era is in between regular like cameras and sidekicks, right? So digital cameras were still super expensive. They were like $300, and sidekick pictures were like grainy as fuck. So there's an era of like the early 2000s where there's not really any pictures because people couldn't afford the fancy ones, and nobody took pictures because it was pre sidekicks. So what were you taking one with the fucking like an old ass Nokia brick phone? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so there's like an era where nobody took pictures. It just happened to be that. So like, I wish I would have taken pictures I took pictures of a lot of shit because I always had like a disposable camera. My mom always used to give me disposable cameras just for the hell of it. She would always come up to me and she'd be like, here, I got you a disposable camera. I'm like, dude, well, thanks, Mom. That's fucking weird shit. Why are you giving me a fucking disposable camera? And then all of a sudden, I'd be hanging out with my dudes, and I'd be like, oh, shh. And that's where you see a lot of the pictures that I posted. So I just wish that, because when we were doing the backing vocals for Take This to Your Grave, there's a funny part. I can't remember the fucking songs because Wentz made the fucking stupidest songs. But anyways, it's at the end where you hear a lot of people laughing and they go, you have to, and then everybody starts laughing. So we were doing backing vocals, and then we were doing little gang vocals, and I think it was like me and my friend Dennis, Wentz, this dude Heychris, and some other dudes, and we're like, you have to, whatever, prove you, I can't remember what the fuck it is, right? Anyways, and so he looks at us, Wentz goes, don't sing, just don't sing. He goes, because we're listening to it on our headphones, and we got to go sing into the mic, right? We're all standing around a mic, and so he goes, all right. He goes, so this time, he goes, don't sing anything. He's like, I just want fucking Heychris to do it so that it sounds real stupid, right? So then we go, and then you hear him go, have to, and then he starts laughing. So that's where that all comes from, that little thing. And I know it's just like a little end of a song that you don't really catch, but like, I thought it was kind of funny. And every time, I listen to that record about once a year, and because it brings back so many memories. I mean, I'm emotionally tied to that record no matter what, whether I like it, whether I don't like it. It's an era. It's a soundtrack of a certain era in my life. So, but anyways, so, Jesus, it's getting dark in here. Layla, get up. I gotta turn on another light. I know. Say hi to the internet. All right. Hold on. I'll be right back. All right. So Fall Out Boy's getting bigger. I don't have I think I was in beauty school at the time. I went to beauty school, and so Arma Angelus was coming to it. It was dead. It was dead, essentially, right? Because they were like, holy shit, look at all these people coming out for Fall Out Boy shows. Nobody's coming to Arma Angelus shows. Why are we going to continue that shitty-ass metalcore band, right? And so we're like, well, we got to practice. We got to practice. Our last show, we got to practice, right? So we fucking go to Troman's house, and we go up into his like attic to practice. I don't think there was a drum set. I think Patrick played. I could be remembering this wrong, but I'm pretty sure Patrick played on just like had sticks and was playing on like a book or something. I could be totally wrong. I'm pretty sure there was no drum set. And then it was me and Adam. Adam played guitar. I played bass. And Troman played guitar, right? So we were practicing the songs. I'm like, dude, where's Wentz? He's got to come and sing along with all this stuff. And they're like, oh, he's not coming. I was like, this motherfucker, right? All right, whatever. And then we go to practice the second time, right? Because I'm like, hey, this is like getting new dudes in the band. Patrick had never played bass or drums for us before. He can play drums, but he never played drums for Arma Angelus. And Troman had only played bass on half a tour, and which he writes about in his book. I read. I didn't read the book, but I saw people been sending me excerpts of it. And anyways, so we go to play the last show, and these motherfuckers were like new people in the band, and it's like they didn't know what the fuck they were playing. Like, they didn't know what the fuck they were playing. And so I'm like, these songs sound like shit. We keep fucking them up. Because, again, Patrick had only played with us twice. This was only the third time he was playing these songs. Troman had only played a couple, and he didn't give a fuck. He's like, I'm in fucking Fall Out Boy. But Fall Out Boy wasn't Fall Out Boy yet. But either way, it was one of those, it was like when your dad tells you stories from his youth on a long car ride. 100%. I'm probably the age of most of your dads, let's be real. But anyways, so that's why that show sounds like shit, because we never practiced together. Also, because we just wanted to have fun with it, you know, and we really didn't give a fuck, and it was the end of an era, and why even practice, and why try to be good, because it was mostly us just saying goodbye to our friends. So, yeah, that was that. But that was probably my favorite Arma Angelus show. It was really fun. When we got to play CBGBs, we played CBs twice. That was really cool for me, just because like I'm just obsessed with punk rock history. So that was really cool to me. So yeah, that's about it. Other than that, be real. You're older than most of their dads. You are correct. Oh, Megan is one of those wonderful people. If you're not seeing her in the comments, Megan Mayhem, she was part of the World's Most Hated Crew back in the day. I don't know if some of you know about that lore, but it was Megan, the terrible Miss E, Sarah Dope, Jeffree Star, maybe? I can't remember if Jeffree was in it or officially in it or not. I think he was. Eliza Cutts, Megan, and me, and then Alicia. Yeah, so it was funny. Funny story about that, actually. I'm gonna tell you one more, and then we're going, because I really want to eat this fucking soup that's literally sitting in front of my face. At one point, so BuzzNet used to be a fucking big deal, right? For like a blip in the scene era. And they were like, oh, we really want to promote World's Most Hated Crew. And I'm like, all right, cool. So they would actually fly me to places and then have me do like show reviews because of my irreverent writing, right? And then one day they were like, hey, we want to pitch a TV show to you. And we're like, what? And so everybody else seemed to be cool with this, like, oh yeah, this shit happens every day. I'm like, what? That shit doesn't happen to me, right? So they flew my fucking happy ass out to LA, for real. They're like, hey, we got you a plane ticket. Get on this flight. I'm like, does this shit happen not in movies? And I was like, all right. So they flew me to LA. They put me up in the Standard on fucking Sunset. And then they're like, all right, hey, let's go out to we're gonna have our business meeting. And I can't remember, Megan, I don't know if you were there. I'm pretty sure you were. Do you remember, was it Swingers? Where was that fucking restaurant? It's not there anymore. It was like a diner. And then they literally sat us down and they're pitching us this fucking show where it was Island Records. And they were like, hey, we're going to bring in a bunch of bands, and then you guys basically design the bands. Like, you have to, oh, this guy needs to wear more black, or, yeah, it was at Swingers, Megan just said. oh, this guy's got to cut his hair. This guy's got to do this. You know, we're going to do all this shit. And it's basically like I'm making the band, but it's in live time. So this is weird because this is a long time ago. So the internet wasn't at that point where they could make it that fast, which I was trying to figure out how they were going to do that, where people would vote online. Like, it was like MySpace era, and they would vote, oh, should he dye his hair blonde or should he dye it red, kind of thing. You guys want me to eat the fucking soup? Jesus Christ. This is gonna be a thing. It's you fucking weirdos are gonna obsess over the shit, and you're gonna fucking start DMing me back pictures of soup and shit. I fucking love soup though, so I really wouldn't be mad. That was my first bite of soup in the last 50 minutes. This thing's fucking delicious, I'm not gonna lie to you. But the last thing you need to do, you fucking creep, is watch an old man shovel soup into his face. Because that's weird on you. That shit's weird on you, man. Anyway. Point is. Oh, hold on. Where were you January 6, 2021? Watching the death of democracy is what I was doing it. No, somebody's gonna twist that shit and they're gonna be like, oh, look, he was probably there. No, I wasn't. I was sitting my happy ass on this couch watching that shit on television being like, fucking arrest all those motherfuckers. But anyways, so you sit us down and they're like, you're gonna take a band and you guys are gonna vote on it. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna change the band and then each one of you is gonna be a different aspect. It's kind of like Queer Eye-ish, where we all had different aspects of like how they would do things, and then we would basically mold this band. And the whole thing was that they were already going to be a band that they had just got signed to Atlantic. Anyways, all I could think was, these motherfuckers are paying for my dinner, they're paying for my hotel, and they're paying for my flights. That shit was cool. Nothing ever happened with it, but I thought it was cool. So yeah. I don't know. Anyways, all right. I think that's about all I got. I really need to eat my soup. I hope this answered some of your questions. I hope this shed light a little bit on a few things. But at the same time, I kind of hope I didn't ruin a lot of the mystery for you. Because, let's be real. Would it be a dick move on my part to ruin the mystery for you? Right? I mean, if these people, if these people were wondering about Debbie and your fucking volleyball team, what happened that night when you guys went to Taco Bell, 15 years later, would you want to ruin that mystery? Because a lot of people put a lot of fucking time into this shit. You want me to ruin that for you? I can ruin it for you. Because up here, might be faded, might be falling apart, some old ass Apple IIe fucking computer shit up here. But I got all the answers. I could ruin the whole thing for you. I could answer. I was there. These are my dudes. I was there. I slept next to them. In a bunk, of course. Your bunk was there, my bunk was here, whatever. No, I'm not going to ruin it. I'm not going to ruin this for you. No. Do you want to know why? And I'll tell you why. Because a lot of you care about this stuff. Good or bad. You care about it. And who am I? I'm just some fucking dude on the balcony, man. I'm not ruining your shit. I'm not ruining your shit. I hope it keeps you entertained. I hope it makes you happy. But I'm not going to ruin it. I'm not your dude. I'm not. So, either way, don't forget to spay and neuter your cats. Support your local animal rescues. Soup, motherfucker. Soup.